Hey, what's up, YouTubers? Back again with another video, and this one is on Warframe, of course. And as you guys can see, we have two new weapons for Archwing. The first runner-up looks to be pretty hefty, and it looks as if it's ready to blow some things out of the sky, or rather out of space. Well, it's called the Fluctus. And let's take a look at the stats real quick here. Alright, as you guys can see, we have 1 dash polarity, and we have an accuracy of 100, critical chance of 15%. That's not too bad. Critical multiplier 2.0 with a fire rate of 5.0 and a magazine size 25 with a reload of 3.0 seconds. Status 10%, impact 40, puncture 20 with a slash, quite a bit of slash there, 140. Well, there you go, the Fluctus. This weapon looks like it definitely will get the job done, but there's only one way to find out, and that's to take it out into space. But before we do that, let's check out the other weapon that they have included in this update for Archwing. It is the Centaur, or the Centaur. And the Centaur is a weapon, as you can see, comes with 1V polarity. It also has an attack speed of 1.1 with a channeling cost of 5 and a channeling damage of 1.5, multiplier, critical chance 25%. That's nice. Critical multiplier 2.0, that's not bad for starters. Leap attack 280, spin attack 600, stamina 15 with a status of 20%. That's not bad either. And a wall attack of 280, impact 28, puncture 56 with slash 196. So both of these new weapons are geared more towards slash, but my thought is, will these weapons operate differently than the other weapons? And what I mean by differently is such as the Centaur. How much more different will the Centaur operate versus the Wrathbone, the Veritux, and the Onyrex? I'm willing to find this out because that's a concern for me as a player. The stats are different, of course. The stats are different across the board. But how will they operate differently? And with the melee on land and missions, you get a feel for the weapon, and each weapon operates different. Well, these weapons seem to be different, but how will they operate out in space? Well, like I said before, there's only one way to find out, and that is to take the weapon out into space and go blow up some Grenier, Corpus, and whatever else is out there. Yes, those pesky drones. I'll be back right after this short video. Okay, let's go out here and let's go to let's try Venus. And what I decided to do is rank these weapons up, and I'll show you guys what mods I used in this particular mission here. So as you can see, they're ranged between 10 and 12. It's Corpus, should be fun. Let's see what these weapons do with a few mods added onto them. Alright. The mod that I'm using on the primary is a fire rate mod. So I'm definitely giving me a lot more speed. And it's not ranked at all. Let's try to melee out. Not bad. The weapon with a few mods on it, it's not bad. Of course, the fire rate has caused it to fire faster. And there's a 60% increase, I believe, on the melee. So that definitely makes a ton of difference. And this weapon has a lot to offer. Now, as far as the primary weapon, I like to feel a faster fire rate. It definitely feels more like a shooter or a weapon that you can use in space, especially with this type of combat, fast pace. It's not a bad weapon. But I must say, it would be nice if I could just hold down the trigger and spray away. But this makes it a bit challenging when you can't do that. As you guys can see, I missed quite a few times. But that's just part of playing a game like this, where, as you can see, the primary weapon, it shoots like a, reminds me of a, not a beam, a solar beam, but more of a wave. But I like it. It's not too bad of a weapon. Let's try the melee out again. Now I can get used to this pretty quick. And I'll probably end up leveling this weapon up quite quick. So I like to fill with these mods on it. Now as far as my aim goes, I have to work on that. But other than that, pretty good weapon. I like it. Now, let me show you guys here what mods I went with. Alright, let's take a quick look at the Fluctus and see what mods I went with. I threw in the automatic trigger, which gave me a 7.5% fire rate, which really made a difference for me. Looking forward to ranking up this mod, which I believe will really help weapons such as this out in space with Archwing. I threw in this parallax scope, just a little extra critical chance because I had 2 extra points, well actually 2 extra points left over, which with this polarity allowed me to use 2 of them, which boosted it up to 18%, which wasn't much, but every little bit counts. And as for the Centaur, I went with the Fur Ore, gave me 2.5% attack speed, which helps, and the Cutting Edge, which definitely makes a big difference. As you can see, it's ranked up all the way with a plus 60% melee damage. Overall, I will say this, the Fluctus, compared to the other Archwing weapons, it isn't better than the Velocitus. Simply because the Velocitus has a magnetic of 1800 and a 25% status and a critical chance of 25%. That's hard to beat with a critical multiplier of 3.0, but it is a different type of weapon. Now, one of my favorites is the dual Decurion, simply because I like dual weapons, so I prefer the dual Decurion, which has a critical chance of 25% with a status of 10%. And I'm using these 2 weapons because these 2 weapons really show the difference compared to the Fluctus. So the Fluctus is a decent weapon. As you can see, it has a critical chance of 15% and has a slash of 140. When you compare it with the dual Decurion, it doesn't have the great, what I call IPS, or in this case the slash puncture and impact, but it has a whopping critical chance of 25% with a critical multiplier of 2.0. It's a pro, but then again it can be a con too. As for the Velocitus, as explained, depends on you, the player, which weapon you want to go with. So the Fluctus, I give it a thumbs up simply because new weapon, it has plenty slash damage in it, which can help out compared to all the other weapons when it comes to slash. Now, as for the Centaur, my favorite weapon when it comes to melee weapon, Archwing, I like the Wrathbone. Now, why do I like the Wrathbone? I'll tell you why. Let me bring this back up again. The Wrathbone simply is a weapon that hits a whopping of 224 impact. When you compare it with the other weapons, you're not going to get that. Okay. As for the Centaur has a slash of 196, but get a load of the critical chance of 25% and the status of 20%. Hard to beat compared with the other weapons. These other weapons, slash 210, Centaur, slash 196. But take a look at the critical chance, 5%, the status, 10%. And let's check out the Onyrex. The Onyrex with a slash of 145. As you can see, we're dealing with slash weapons in this range here. But this here lacks the critical chance compared to the Centaur, and it lacks the status, which makes a difference. But overall, like I said again, it depends on your gameplay. I like the Wrathbone, but I think I found another weapon that I'm willing to play with. And as you can see, I even need to get this Onyrex, and I'm farming this weapon now. I want all of them. Well, this is Joshua Timing. I'll definitely see you in the next Warframe, and always remember, keep God first. I'm out. Peace.